it's going to suck. It's going to be bad. You are going to be horrible when you first start out. All you want to do is get 1% better for the next time and just continue to do it. Most people quit way before the finish line. I see it all the time. If you can go over 5 podcasts or go live 5 times, you are better than 90% of your competition. So it takes time. It's consistent. And it's going to be hard. You're going to screw up. Just know it from the beginning. Never go live like saying, I'm going to test this out, and like, I'm going to try this new thing. Like, don't do that, please, because it won't work.
Hello, welcome to the Confident Live Marketing Podcast. I'm Ian Anderson Gray. Well, I'm very excited because we have Jeff Sieh coming back onto the show to talk about his confidence communication journey. Jeff, if you don't already know, is an international speaker and visual marketing consultant. He hosts the Social Media News live show and podcast, and is also head beard at Manly Pinterest Tips. Jeff has worked with and produced a wide range of content for various companies, including Guy Kawasaki, Kim Garst, Social Media Examiner, and Tailwind. Welcome back, Jeff. How are you doing?
Doing well, Ian. Thank you again for having me on the show today. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Oh, thank you. Well, I appreciate that and it's quite funny that we're talking about confidence communication because I've been all over the place and you've been a very, very gracious guest because my camera has decided to switch off and on occasionally. I've stumbled over my words. And it's just one of those days. But that's what happens, isn't it? And we keep going.
Yeah. And I've been there. It felt like, so I just posted the other day. I was doing a show and all of a sudden I kept hearing this weird noise and I'm like, what is going on? And geese were on the front of my office, like almost on the front porch. And I'm like, I've been doing this show for 3 years. I've been in this office for more than 10. I've never had geese on my front line. I posted to Instagram because it was so weird. But yeah, there's like 4 geese, wild geese, just walking and I was like, yeah. Can you guys, like, I was asking Connor, my co-host, I'm like, can you hear this? And he's like, yeah, what's going on? I'm like, geese are in my
Well, there you go. Maybe that's the secret to our success, because we don't always, people don't want professional quality all the time. They want a bit of humanity in there. So maybe that's what we need.
Or geese. More geese. Instead of more cowbell, it's more geese. More geese.
Exactly. Yeah. So for those who didn't hear you last time and I haven't come across you, there must be kind of 1 or 2 people in the world who haven't come across you. But tell us a little bit more about you, highlighting your background. Just a brief introduction before we dig into talking about confidence and communication.
Yeah. So I have been doing live video since the Google Plus days, back when they first started rolling out live video. Google was the first ones to do it. They beat Facebook at the comment tracker, all that kind of stuff. So I've been doing it for ever since then, probably like 15 years or so doing live video. So I started doing that for clients. I have continued to do it every week. So I have seen or had things fail on me probably more than anybody else because I've been doing this show or producing shows for people for such a long time. So yeah, I don't know if I would call myself confident, but I would call myself like I've done it enough that you never know what's going to happen.
Well, yeah, that's why I call this Confident Live Marketing Podcast. It's not about, I'm not saying that I'm ultra confident, like far from it. It's a journey that we're all on. And it's kind of trying to focus, like what is the focus? How do we become more confident? So I know you have a few stories, and we've had a few stories today with the tech just not working, but which is hilarious. But can you go back to a time, maybe kind of towards the beginning of your video content creation, where you struggled particularly with confidence in front of the camera, when you were nervous and I don't know, share some stories.
Yeah. So the funny thing is every Friday, because I do my show on Friday at 10 a.m. Central, is I wake up going, oh, why am I doing this? I stink. I suck at this. Why am I doing this? I'm so bad. So every week I feel nervous and people like freak. They like, what? You feel nervous? I'm like, yes, every time. Before I get on this show, I get nervous. It's just, it's having to push yourself through the nervousness. I heard somebody say the other day, which I thought was really, really good. They said, instead of, having that nervous feeling, try to focus it into excitement. And I guess that's what kind of I do now is like, instead of taking that, oh, I stink. Why would anybody want to listen to me? I'm excited to be able to see my audience and the people who show up every week, which is really great. I have a really great community that shows up. But when you first start out, like, you don't have that community. It may be your mom, and sometimes your mom doesn't even like you. And so you gotta it's hard to do. And I do have a story. Like, for the first time I like got my first really big guest, like way back in the day, I had cashed in all my chips, and got Guy Kawasaki. Like, I knew Peg Fitzpatrick, which was a social media manager, and she introduced me to him, and he agreed to be on my show. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my first one. I was so nervous. Like, so he's in the green room, I'm in the green room, I'm getting ready to go live. I have the countdown timer going, and I took a drink, and it was like one of these water bottles, and I had turned, and then I had come back to to the desk, and I hit the edge of the desk, like I went bam, and the whole bottom went, and it just fell out, ice water into my crotch. So I'm like, hello, welcome to the, and it was my first episode. I had ice water underpants, and that's kicked off my big first guest career, interviewing people. So you, what you do then is, like, you think back to those times, and, like, there's probably nothing that could worse can happen to me than that, right? So everything else is cake. Like, it's just gonna be easy. It's just, it's just gravy. So I guess that's the story. Things are going to happen. Things are gonna, geese will show up at your front door, power will go out, your camera will quit working, and you're gonna freak out the first couple times it happens. You are. It's just gonna freak you out. But then you're like, okay, I lived through that. Nobody left. Nobody gave me really bad comments about it. They laughed along with me. It's gonna be okay. Now, you want to have processes in place, like, okay, if my power gets out, maybe I can restart the router and have backup that'll continue the stream or whatever. That's fine. But just know, things that you don't think about or even are comprehending could happen to you, like geese on your front step. Those things will happen, and you just have to learn how to roll with them, and it's okay. You're not going to lose your live streaming.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is the key to your success. It's the geese, it's the pouring
Right.
water into your crotch, it's all those
Yeah.
kind of things. And so, like, you've heard it here on this podcast. This is we do aim to
Yeah.
share the top tips and hacks.
Yeah.
But seriously,
Wear
I mean,
swim trunks when you first do, like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. But it is those moments when things go wrong, and then you realize, actually, it doesn't matter. Life just still goes on.
Right.
We're still here. And I think that was what happened back in, when the world shut down in 2020. We were all there in our, well, I didn't necessarily go on Zoom in my pajamas, but a lot of people did. And the kids were in the background, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And
Right.
people realized, like, we all have
Right.
normal lives. People like that. So, what you still get nervous today, but I assume that is different to when you first started. Like, has there been any kind of pivotal moments throughout your career that's helped you build your confidence? Because I know you do public speaking as well, and
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
talked about this, and you think it's a great idea when you accepted to speak at an event, and then you kind of get
Right.
close to the event, and you think,
Right.
why did I say
What
yes?
why did I do, yeah.
Why
What
did
am
I
I
do that?
doing?
And
That
then
is
you do,
such
and then you do
stupid.
it,
Yeah.
and it goes well, and you love it.
Right.
And
Right.
so, yeah, there's been any kind of moments that have, or a decision that you've made that's helped you?
So my decision, I think, was it just happened to be that way. I've always had co-hosts. Like, I've always had people. Now, I've since then I have done solo shows, and if I had where my co-host couldn't make it or whatever, and it was just me or me and the guest. I just prefer doing shows with people instead of just me talking. I just am more comfortable that way, and so I lean into what I'm more comfortable with. And then for my recent show, when I first started Social Media News Live, I had Grace Stuffy. We both left Social Media Examiner and started our own show, and she was awesome, and she helped produce the show, came up with questions, all that kind of thing. And then she moved on to do some stuff, with her kids are graduating, and all the stuff, being a mom. So she did that, and so I got Connor Brown, who and some other people. I kind of have like a traveling co-host, like you were a co-host a couple of times, Ian. So I have people who I can bring in to be that co-host, because that's the way I like to do a show. It makes it easier for me because I'm producing it. I can cut to my co-host. That gives me time to read ahead in the comments and all that kind of stuff. Look where I am in the show flow, all that stuff. So it works for me. Now, it may not work for somebody else. It may be too much to do, and maybe they just want to do a solo show. That's fine. Do what you like to do and that you're comfortable with, and do more of it. So that's one of the things I lean into. Like if I have somebody cancel, if, like for example, Connor can't be here this week. He's got parents in town. Okay, Connor can't do it. I'll ask around and see if anybody else of my friend group or my producer group would like to come in and co-host with me. If not, it's not a big deal. I can do it myself, but I'm gonna make that opportunity available to my friends because a lot of times they like to come in and do that. That's just the way I do it. And the other thing is I plan out my show. Like I have every year, every Friday for at least 10 years for my show, I have 3 sections and 10 questions. I mean, 5 sections, 5 questions for each section. And do we use all those questions? Nope. Do we sometimes not use any of the questions? Yeah, sure. But I do that because it makes me more confident that I know where the show is going, where I'm kind of planning. And also it when I send it to my guests, it gives them a feeling like, okay, these people know what they're doing. They've got the show planned out. And I even mentioned like, we're not probably not going to give the questions, but here's kind of what I'm thinking. A lot of times I'll have comments come in from our audience. I'll use those way more than anything that I have because I want to make it about what my audience wants. So I'll scrap my questions to bring in their questions. So that's the kind of the two things that I have done to help me feel prepared and not have that, right before the show, like, oh, what am I going to talk about? Like, what am I going to, though that is gone for me because
Yeah.
I've already planned out the show. I know where I'm going. I have the way I'm comfortable. And now the audience is there because I've been doing it for so long. The same people show up. I know Gary is going to be there in the audience. I know Chris is going to be there. I know Ian's going to be there. So I know my people, and that makes me want to show up because I'm excited to have a conversation with them.
Yeah, that I think the whole thing about preparing and having a process and having a plan is so important. And actually, this is where I think a little bit of anxiety can help because, like,
Hmm.
I know I've been on some shows where people just they go live and they don't even have a plan, and it's a bit of a disaster. I think you do need to have something there, even if you don't use much of it. You sometimes
Right.
you don't use any of the questions, but you've got something there because, again, it depends on the guests that you have. Like
Hmm.
some guests, you have to really rely on those questions, and sometimes you won't, but you need to have something there. That's really important. So I want
Hmm.
to ask you about, let's talk about personality and the importance of, or how that plays a role, because we all have different personalities. How does Would you describe yourself like introverted, extroverted, shy, or bold? And how does that affect the way you turn up on camera?
That's a tough question. I think that I'm, what do they say, an ambivert? Because I'm like
Ambivert,
I
yeah.
have a lot of, I have some introverted tendencies, but I love to speak, and I think I'm pretty good at speaking in public. But you know how a lot of people get their, they get a lot of energy from being around all the people. They have to be around people. Like that's just the way they are. My son's this way. He loves going out with friends. He's got to be out doing stuff. Da, 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 da. I can do that, and I love conferences. I love talking with people and all that stuff. But when I'm done, I need time. Like I need in my office by myself. If it's watching Netflix or doing whatever, I mean, whatever, I need that time to recharge. I enjoy sitting in my room reading a book. Like I am boring. I'm like toast. Like just so um that's I think plays into it a little bit. So I've kind of in my processes worked that in. Like most after Friday shows, I'm pretty much done for the day. I'll have some tasks that I'll do that I don't have to think hard about or be super creative with because I feel like I've kind of burnt through all of that in my show in the morning, right? Or if I'm doing I love doing road trips to my speaking events. I mean, because there's nothing fun about getting this big butt in a giant tube flying across the sky. There's just nothing fun about it. It's like a big Vienna sausage just stuffed in a tube. But one of the things that so I like to drive if I can. So I'm not scared of flying. I just like to drive, and I love road trips because it gives me on the way there, I can think about what I'm going to be speaking about. I can do all that stuff. I can listen to podcasts. And on the way back, I could decompress. And I found that works really, really well for me. I love driving. I love seeing scenery. I love that windshield time. And so if it makes sense, I love to be able to drive to those conferences. And so I've kind of worked that into my workflow as well.
Yeah, I think being aware of our energy levels is
Right.
absolutely vital. And I'm like you, that if particularly if I'm going live, we're not
Hmm.
doing this live today, but particularly doing it live, I think that generates more excitement, and that interaction that we get with our
Hmm.
audience, it's amazing. And I still very much advocate going live, or at least, but what we're doing now is we're recording this as if we were live, which I think
Right.
is important. But at the end of it, I often do feel really tired. And
Hmm.
so I need to put that in, I need to be aware of that when I work with my calendar as well. So I do think like understanding ourselves is so important. So when it comes to before you press that go live button, how do you prepare for your lives or recording a video? Is there anything that that you do? You've talked about planning. Do you do any kind of warming up? Do you go for a walk? What's the kind of stuff that you do?
Usually I'm like I usually I have a schedule that I do every morning, and I try to even on live show days do the same thing. And even when I'm traveling, is like I do prayer and meditation, and I read, and I get up early enough that I always have time to do that, and I journal a little bit. So I think I have an unbroken streak, and I'm really kind of proud of this. That I've written over like I've written in my journal like 1,500 days or 1,600 days in a row. It's like 3 years. So it's really real. So it's just a paragraph sometimes, but I try to do that as well. And I do that. That's kind of I guess a centering thing that I do every morning that helps me get my day off on the right foot. Um, but yeah, I mean, the other thing is for my live show days, I have a checklist because I've gone before, and I use Ecamm, and they have isolated tracks, which is really important for me to use for when I'm repurposing my show, because I can just have the guests, I can just have me, and it's easy to switch cameras. I have forgotten before because I've done like an Amazon video. I've turned off ISO because I didn't need all the camera recordings, and I forgot to turn it on for my live show. And I'm like, ah, and I go and do it, and like half of it's gone. So now I have a checklist of things that I make sure that I do beforehand, like send out the emails to guests, make sure that they get the restream link. I mean, all the different things that come into it. So there is a process checklist that I do every time before the live show. And then I have one after that I get that repurposing thing kicked off right after the show's over. Like as soon as I'm done, before I get up from my desk, it goes to the script and it starts doing the transcribing of the audio to a script form that I can start use to editing and figure out what I'm going to do for repurposing.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, that repurposing side of things is so important, and so is following that checklist. Oh my goodness,
Mhm.
I've forgotten a few things like that in the past. There's one time actually when I was playing around with 4K video, just playing around,
Right, right.
and then I forgot to switch it off, and basically I went live and the whole system crashed because I was trying to
Yeah,
go to
you filled up
4K
your hard drive. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
too many different places.
yeah.
Just before we finish, like I'd love to know, have you got any words of encouragement or advice for listeners who maybe they know they have a message, they want to communicate it to their audience, but there's just something stopping them. They may think they're quite shy, or they're
Mhm.
struggling. That maybe they think they're a complete idiot in front of the camera and they're stumbling over words. What would your advice be to people like that?
If you're really nervous about going live, then I would practice. Like I would get what I have, and I still have it, is a private Facebook group that I'm only a member in, and maybe one or two people that I can go test things. Like when I first started producing and doing live shows, I would practice switching the cameras. I would practice that and see how that would look and how to bring up lower thirds. Never go live like saying, I'm going to test this out, and like, I'm going to try this new thing. Like, don't do that, please, because it won't work. And you'll be stumbling around, and unless your show is about testing new things, don't test new things on your show. The other thing is consistency. Like, it's gonna suck. It's gonna be bad. You are going to be horrible when you first start out. All you want to do is get 1% better for the next time and just continue to do it. Most people quit way before the finish line. I see it all the time. Creators have such a great message, and they're starting to resonate with their audience, and they quit. And I'm like, "Ugh, I've been doing it for 3 years, and I'm finally getting some traction the way I want. I kind of feel. So it takes some time, and just be consistent. Most podcasts, it used to be they would stop after 7 episodes. Now people stop after producing content for podcasts after 5. I think the newest reports came out. So
Wow.
if you can go over 5 podcasts or go live 5 times, you are better than 90% of your competition, right? So it takes time, it's consistent, and it's gonna be hard. You're gonna screw up. Just know it from the beginning. You're gonna turn red on camera and say the wrong thing. The other day, I had a lady on as a guest, and I looked right at her, and I went, "This is the breast thing ever." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, why did I say that?" And I saw Connor looking at me in the thing, and you know you're gonna say the wrong things. It's gonna happen, and you're just gonna have to move forward. But the thing is, be consistent. Continue to be
Yeah.
consistent. Get 1% better every time, and you will be better than 90% of your competition.
That's great advice. Thanks, Jeff. You got to get started and like
Mhm.
look at some of our old stuff. you'll,
Oh,
you'll be
don't look at our old
encouraged.
stuff. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
don't look at it. Right.
don't do that. Well, we're out of time, Jeff. Thank you so much for that. That's been really useful stuff. Like, how can people find out a bit more about you? And I know you've been working on a few things that you can share with us as well.
Yeah, so the best place to find me is for the Friday show is we do that every Friday at 10 a.m. Central, socialmedianewslive.com. If you like to listen to it on podcast, just search Social Media News Live. It'll pop right up. The other place is jeffsieh.com. That's JEFF, S as in Sam, IEH, I before E, especially in C. That's how my mommy told me to say it. And got some great stuff there. I just put together a new toolbox of all the stuff, all my gear, the software, AI tools, all that stuff. If you go to jeffsieh.com/toolbox, you'll be able to get that really, really easy. And I also have a Descript course. We've talked a little bit about Descript and how I do some editing with AI and some stuff. It's a really great, powerful tool. Not the easiest intuitive thing to use. So I put together a course. If you go to jeffsieh.com/Descript 101, you can find out more about that. And if you use code Ian30, you'll get 30% off of whatever the price is at the time. So make sure you guys check that out. jeffsieh.com/Descript 101, promo code Ian30.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jeff. It's been great to have you back on the show. And yeah, look forward to having you back very soon.
Thank you, Ian. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, that is it for this week. I will be back again next week for another episode of the Confident Live Marketing Show. And until next time, I encourage you to level up your impact, authority, and profits to the power of Confident Live Video. See you soon. Bye.
Thanks for watching the Confident Live Marketing Show with Ian Anderson Gray.
Make sure you subscribe at iag.me/podcast so you can continue to level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of live video.
And until next time,
Toodaloo.